What I want to know, and what I think would be great for people, we see the videos, and you're both, in the face of these settlers. We trying to report. Even the IDF is in front of you. There's threats against you. They push you. They try and knock over your cameras. They do. There's violence against you guys. What is it that stirs you to keep going? And I want you, Sam, if you could start with this one, to give us a day in the life of what it is like when you're out there. I'm sure you're not every single day out there, otherwise you'd be totally burnt out. But what is it like, for you? And then, Andre, I'd love for you to answer that question as well.
Yeah, definitely. So I am currently living in a Palestinian village in Masafriyata called Khair that I've been living in since the middle of September. So I guess it is every day for me right now.
Right.
I did just take a short 2 week vacation, so I'm feeling a lot
Good.
more energetic.
You need that.
And there's a massive whiplash that I think characterizes it that, you know, sometimes I wake up, make myself coffee, hang out, don't really do anything, go to sleep, and I'm like, did I even do anything today? Like, am I helping? Like, what do they need me for? And then other days, your phone is just ringing off the hook all day, like one text after another, one call after another. Like there are settlers here that are shepherding on private Palestinian land, or they're, um, army over here, and this guy can't get his sheep. There's army stopping a car. There are bulldozers, and you're just driving and texting and calling and filming a million different things all at once. And kind
Right.
of yeah, there's just like this massive, massive spectrum of what it could look like, and what like the to kind of take a step back for a second, what the work entails of in and of itself. The reason that we're here in the first place is what we call protective presence activism, which is basically first and
Mm.
foremost hoping that just by being here as non-Palestinians, but certainly, anyone who's not Palestinian enjoys way more privilege under this regime, but certainly in the case of Andre and me, um, Jewish Israeli citizens really are at the top of the food chain, so to speak, and just
Mm.
hoping that since that we're here, there are actual consequences for violence towards us to some extent, and hoping that being here reduces the possibility that Palestinians suffer the usual violence.
Mm.
Um,
So do
and
they
so,
do they take that seriously? Do they, Andre, I'll let you answer that. Do they worry that fact, and do they hold back because they know that you're Israeli Jewish citizens?
They actually do, and it depends on the specific case, of course. But generally, yes, we are in a uh, completely different position than Palestinians in the West Bank. Um,
Do they get
Palestinians,
intimidated by you because you're clever,
it's
you're intelligent, you're speaking,
no,
you're
it's not.
confident?
It's not about intimidation. It's a much simpler and more terrifying thing. It's because of the apartheid. It's because when you do something to a Palestinian, you will very likely face no consequences for that. Settlers launch pogroms, kill people, burn down cars, burn down houses, and there is nothing that is really done by that. They are guarded by the military as they do it. The military frequently invades Palestinian villages, kidnaps people, holds them without charge, tortures them at military bases. My friends have been kidnapped and tortured and held for a long time with no charge, with nothing, and there is no legal recourse. After that, they're just kicked out on the side of the roads, and there
Is
is
that
nothing. There
is
is
that your
nothing they can
Palestinian
do.
friends? Are you talking about
Yes,
your
exactly.
Palestinian friends being held, but not an Israeli citizen like
Yes,
yourself?
because
Have you?
we're subject to two completely different legal systems. Because the Palestinians are subjected to military law, and it's not even military law. They're subjected to, let's say, military lawlessness. But Sam and I are subject to a regular civilian legal system where we can be arrested, tried. We will have the right to a lawyer. We will be able to visit courts, and like it's a completely different reality. And in addition to that, we have access to all these human rights advocacy organizations. We can file petitions in court because we can interact with it much easier. So whenever a settler comes in order to do something in a Palestinian village, it's more complicated when there are international or Israeli activists there, because it will get filmed, because the activists cannot just be pushed away, kicked out, and so on. It's a completely different story. Sometimes it doesn't stop them. Sometimes activists get beaten up. Sometimes activists get murdered, as was in the Beta demonstration a few months ago. But generally, yes, we have a massive privilege here, and which we're trying to use in order to reduce the amount of settler and army violence against the Palestinians.
We're in the Palestinian village of Al Khair, and for the past few days it has been under increased pressure from the settlers. Just now, two settlers came and opened the pipe that brings water to the village, and one of them then invaded the village and came up right to the houses and started shoving us. The army came, talked to the settler, and to the question of what's going on, he responded, "There are many Arabs here." A while later, the settlers and the soldiers left, finally allowing us to close the water pipe. Neither the army nor the police did anything about the water pipe. This has been happening for weeks. The settlers regularly come here and open the water pipe in order to damage their village's access to resources and precipitate the ethnic cleansing of this land.
So just tell me, you dropped something, a time bomb there. You just, boom. Sorry, there was an activist that was murdered or killed a couple of months ago. Could you share that details about that? Because I don't know if I heard about it. And was that an Israeli person?
That was an American activist, Aisha. She was
Aisha, that's right. Yes.
at a demonstration in Beta,
Yes.
which is held every Friday, and it is frequently very strongly suppressed by the occupation forces.
Was she Jewish? Is she American
No, she was
Jew?
not Jewish. No, she was Turkish American.
And that, oh, that's right. And that I can recall that now.
It's difficult to tell what exact mechanics compelled them to do it, and it was very clearly not an accident. She was shot in the head by a sniper. Like it was an assassination. It was just a murder. And so something compelled them to kill an activist, which they do fairly rarely. Although another American activist was shot in the leg while he was walking away from the demonstration, just I think a month before Aisha's murder. So there is
just to kind of contextualize the kind of different tiers almost of privilege. As Andrey mentioned, activists have been killed before, relatively rarely, but obviously that's an incredibly severe thing that needs to be grappled with. And all of them, as far as I can tell, I don't think any of them were Jewish. They were all international, certainly not Israeli Jews. So the kind of there's always levels to it, which is to say, without kind of putting on a front and pretending that like we're not in any danger whatsoever, there's still a massive level of safety that we enjoy that other people do not.